Are you tired of setting financial goals that never quite come true? Today, I'm going to show you a proven way to finally set and stick to your money goals, no matter how many competing priorities you have. Welcome back. I'm April Schoen, and in this video, we're going to be diving into the best method to set and achieve your financial goals. Whether that might be saving for a house, paying for kids' college, saving towards retirement, having a clear roadmap is critical. And we're going to talk about SMART goals, spending plans, habit building, and accountability strategies to ensure you actually reach the finish line this time. A few years ago, I was very ambitious. I wanted to save for a home renovation project. I wanted to fund my kids' college. And then I also wanted to invest in my business all at the same time. Does that sound familiar? And even though I had a decent income, I just felt like I wasn't really making a lot of progress towards any of those. And what I realized was that I lacked structure to manage all of those competing priorities in my world. And so once I created a system, which I'm going to share with you in just a little bit, everything started to click. So let's walk through and start thinking about this. So the first thing I encourage you to do is start with the end in mind. Picture the lifestyle or the milestone that you want. This is going to create that motivation for you to stick with your plan. So for me, it was like imagining the day that my kids graduated from college with no student loans. I had student loans and I worked to pay them off. And so I want to provide a better life for my kids. But I also want to have the freedom to do things in our world financially today, right? It's all about that balance between saving for tomorrow and also enjoying today. So for me, though, it was really having that image in mind helped me prioritize these goals. And I really encourage my clients to think of our goals in like short term, maybe midterm, and also long term goals, because this is going to help you see what's urgent. Like, what do I need to work on right now? And then what can I build up over time? So let's think about this SMART framework. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I'm kind of going to go through and give you an example. The first thing is you want it to be specific, right? We need clarity. And as a financial advisor for my clients, sometimes I think this is the number one thing that I do is help them get clear about all of these different financial priorities they have in their world and what do they want to focus on first. What do they really want their money doing for them? And what do they want their life to look like financially in the future? So be specific. Let's say that you want to buy rental property, right? Well, then you need to save money for that down payment or to build up to pay for it in cash. So what is that? So maybe it's you want to save 20,000 for a down payment on a rental property. Give yourself a tangible number, right? And this is where it becomes measurable. That's the M. Give yourself like a plan for that. And so let's say you say, I want to save $500 a month, right? This is how you can track your progress over time. Make it achievable. We want to stretch for this goal, but we want to make it feasible as well. Sometimes we go too far, right? Because if we shoot too high, this can cause us to have burnout, can make us feel like it's not possible, not achievable. It makes it too hard, right? We want to make it relevant. We want to align these goals with our values. What are your financial values? Is it family security? Is it financial freedom? Is it legacy planning? Like, what is your core values when it comes to your money? And I like having things that are time bound. So you have a set time frame on that. Is that 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years? What is that time frame you're looking for? And that's going to help you build those goals. And when you have them, then you can start building up systems for success. Let's talk about some ways that you can do that. The number one thing I recommend my clients do is automate your savings. Often we spend by default and we save by decision, but we want to flip that. Okay, right? We want to do the opposite. We want to save by default and spend by decision. One of the best examples of this is the 401k. It's not magical. It just automatically comes out of your paycheck before you even see it. That's what makes it so effective. So you can do the same thing. Set up automatic transfers to go into a dedicated account for these goals. That way you don't have to rely on your willpower. You don't have to rely on what's left over at the end of the month or remember to do it later. And speaking of that, I'm not a fan of the word budget. I really like a spending plan. I don't want to be on a budget, but I do want to be intentional about how I'm spending my money. And don't forget in those spending plans to tie it back to your goals, right? And think about, again, those goals and how much we should be saving for those. I also encourage you to have regular checkups. So, I'm sure my husband loved this because I used to make him sit down with me every quarter and go through everything, much to his delight, I'm sure. And now we do that more on an annual basis. But early on, we had to look at our money on a more regular basis. I have clients that sometimes are trying to curb overspending and they have to look at it weekly so that they can stay on top of it. So you might need that weekly check in at first to say, hey, how am I doing on some of these things, whatever that goal may be? And then you can move to looking at it more monthly, quarterly, and annually. Having a financial advisor or a trusted friend is a game changer, right? They can help guide you. They can ask questions maybe you haven't thought about. They can cheer you on and they can help you stay on track or get back on track when things come up. I always recommend too that you celebrate the small wins, right? It fuels your motivation as you're hitting some of these goals. Celebrate your success. My husband and I just last week opened a bottle of wine to celebrate hitting one of our own financial milestones. And also just make sure that you can leave room to adapt to curveballs, because guess what? Life will throw you curveballs. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And don't give up, just revise your plan and keep on going. Let me give you an example. Few years ago, we were saving to replace the floors in our home, and my husband took in his car for an oil change. And they said, your engine is leaking, which is not what we wanted to hear. That was not in our plan whatsoever. So we had to shift some savings around. But we didn't just give up on our goal, we just modified our timeline. Setting financial goals, that's the easy part, right? Sticking to them is where most people stumble. But if you have a clear system, if you spend by decision rather than default, and you build in some accountability and some wiggle room for those curveballs, you're going to see progress. Let me know how I can help. I'm here cheering you on. If you'd like some more information, be sure to sign up for our monthly webinars. We have a webinar once a month on a variety of different topics. You can go to our website, curryschoenfinancial.com/events. You can sign up to be on our mailing list. You can also see upcoming webinars that we have already scheduled. We'll make sure to link that in the show notes. Thanks for watching. If you liked, make sure to like and subscribe the video, and be sure to share that with anyone you feel like would benefit from this as well. Bye now.